Hello everyone. Thanks for joining this webinar. Today the topic is determining the new normal for office, which is the key topic we have to consider now. Particularly Asian cities are having the situation that we hope to be back to the normal operation for the city and the business. So yeah, this is the photo of me. So recently, I'm leading the sustainability team of Arup in East Asia for providing technical solutions in order to facilitate the buildings and the properties to address the issues of health and wellness after the outbreak of COVID-19. You can find my email address here as well. Okay, as background, Asian cities were firstly affected by the COVID-19. At the same time, some cities have the quicker control of the situation. Hence, some companies in those cities have already invited the employees to go back to workplace and office and try to have the normal day-to-day operation. However, I believe that most of the people still have the certain amount of concerns in health and infection, and they hesitate on going back to workplace. So I think most of us are used to see this kind of body temperature check in the main entrance of some buildings at the moment. This installation is not only the first layer of health protection, it can also provide a certain level of confidence for the building users, since you may think that the place is safer. Actually, the setting and operation of buildings are changing gradually now, as people consider more and more that health and safety is the top priority of a workplace. To protect the people in the workplace and provide confidence of people regarding the properties, a comprehensive plan and action are needed to realize the new normal office. As now we come to post-COVID-19 era, we have to define or even redefine the normal for our daily operation. Basically, we have to accommodate the new practice to protect our people. This can also have the benefits of being ready in case there is any next pandemic. This should be at the city level and the building level. So at the city level, the government, the policy is needed to have a focus on the people density control in building or any infrastructure facilities, and also the digital application in the city. And the city infrastructure should have a higher flexibility in schedule and option, for example, the public transport. At the building level, regardless of new or existing buildings, building surfaces, or interior layouts, we have to redefine the design and provisions in the building to protect our people during the daily operation.
Betty
Okay, so there are the key practical steps for bringing people and complex assets together through periods of disruption. So the first step, the organization has to set up a task force or focus group to have the leadership to own and look into the new normal exercise. For the second step, we have to understand how this relates to the organization context or culture and what lessons learned we have so as to create a decision-making framework and change actions. So for the first step, plan and prove. We have to plan for different operating status and reserve the resources to test on any new process. For the fourth step, implementation, we have to consider the challenge and complexity of reactivating the facilities and systems. Also have the clear communication and coordination to the staff and other stakeholders. So the fifth step, the monitor. So we have to review and provide an ongoing monitoring, which are important to ensure the continuous improvements of our properties. So let me jump to the first step, planning and proving. So in the building, there are four components we have to consider. So the first component is the people. Apart from communication with our people, we also have to have the provision for flexibility in working arrangement. For the technology, digital infrastructure would be the key. Hardware and software for remote working arrangement or working from home are demand. Access, we need to ensure the best environmental quality and provide a safe ambient environment to the people. The assets have to be meeting the specific needs for the workplace. So for the process, we have to identify the clear roles and responsibilities of each stakeholder to implement the plans and also realize the provision for ongoing monitoring and review. So after planning the new normal office exercise, the implementation and monitoring approach are introduced. The approach can be categorized as the five main aspects: assessment, indoor air quality and pollution control, why advisory, data monitoring and analytics, and also the validation. I'm going to touch on this now. So the first approach one, the assessment. We have to identify the issue and problems in the properties and built environments. This would be some local areas in the properties with the risk of high hydrogen concentration. And this can be assessed by computational fluid dynamic CFD modeling to check the hydrogen concentrations throughout the workplace, or by the on-site survey with the building operation team. Once the problem is identified, the corresponding intervention can be carried out. For the approach to the air quality and pollution control, this would be more related to the building air conditioning and ventilation system as shown in this diagram. The upgrade or proper configuration of the system will effectively reduce the risk of infection within the building. The building would need to have a comprehensive review in the setting and the performance of the ventilation and air conditioning system in terms of various aspects, such as the supply air volume, the microbial control, humidity setting, air filtering, risk of cross contamination in the air, pressurization of the interior space, and also the potential of the lateral ventilation application. So for the next approach, the why advisory, apart from the approach directly addressing the hydrogen and disease, the new normal office should also adopt a wide advisory to facilitate the post-COVID-19 daily operation. There are some examples under the four components we have to consider, which I have mentioned previously, the people, technology, assets, and process. So starting with people under this wide advisory approach, we may think about the social distance of the people to provide the and also to provide the effective working environment at the same time. For example, as the space planning for every functional space. So how many occupancy within the same area with a particular usage of the space. So we can consider this by having the scientific analysis. For the technology, digital communication and data analytics are the key to maintain the normal operation of office in the future. The building should be equipped with the digital software and hardware and has the infrastructure to collect and manage the considerable amount of building performance data. Provisions, for example, such as the IoT sensor, the server, digital platform, dashboard, database, etc., are needed to support on this operation. Also, in terms of the technology, Smart building materials and surface should be applied to kill the pathogens or avoid the existence of the pathogen on the high-touch surface. For example, the metal coating, it can kill the pathogens, while the high-density nano coating can be repelling the pathogens, so to avoid the infection by the contact on the surface. Regarding access, the indoor ambient air quality would be the key priority for access. Various interventions should be applied properly according to the space context. There are examples for disinfection measures, such as the UV irradiance device for airborne pathogen level control, either by the local device or the air duct integrated configuration there. So continue for the access, contactless or touchless facility provisions are also considered effective measures for the office. It can be applied on high-touch surface in various common areas, such as the toilet, lift car, and also the lobbies. For process, we have to set up a plan for operation model and also contingency. So have to conduct the regular review and risk assessment according to the change of the operation mode in throughout the life cycle of the building. So this would be considered as the ongoing exercise. So going to the approach 4, the data monitoring and analytics. We need to understand the interaction between the people behavior in the building and the pathogen situation. So only the monitoring data can tell us how it happens in our building specifically. There are two key advantages of having this data monitoring and analytics in the building. One is to provide the immediate feedback control according to the situation in the building by having the data. And two is to provide the predictive operation management through the machine learning. Hence, we have to reserve resources to develop an analytical algorithm and decision-making automation, as well as a communication dashboard to help us to have an ongoing monitoring on the building performance. Lastly, as the last approach, the on-site validation. With the interventions to control the pathogen level in the workplace, either by this data monitoring, the smart surface and smart materials, and the air conditioning action control, on-site validation test is suggested to be carried out. On-site field measurement for a general air quality parameters can be conducted regularly, while we should also particularly work with the laboratory to collect the pathogen sample in either the ambient area and the high-touch surface for precise tests. Some buildings are getting ready for the new normal office operation so far. So here is a pilot case in Hong Kong as an example. This office building is equipped with the air quality IoT sensor in the common areas of this building, with the dynamic analysis and the decision-making automation. So there are dedicated air purification system or device to provide the necessary control on the air quality and the pathogen levels. So the areas are tagged, and it's found that the air quality is at a very good level with good and high health standard. I hope that you find the proposed new normal office approach useful and can be a good reference for you. Finally, I wish that everyone can be back to office gradually with a safe and happy moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lam, and thank you everyone for joining us today. As mentioned, this presentation was recorded and will be available on our website. We hope you enjoy the presentation, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact us. Have a lovely day.